Then straight in with the first freedom, as delivered on February the 12th, 1961, through Dr. King in Los Angeles. Now, people deciding, if we were to sit down, or we were to do a poll or a survey of humanity and ask, what would you pick as the first essential step on the spiritual ladder? I don't think many would come up with bravery as the first. Some might. I think we'd hear compassion, kindness, humility possibly, many qualities that we're used to. It's a very significant and important choice, this, of, if choice is the right word, I don't know, but teaching of bravery being the first step. Yet if you think about it, without bravery, we can't do anything of significance. You require bravery in this world to do anything of real significance. Just to find the truth, you require bravery. You require bravery to seek the truth. Most people who seek spiritual truth or take to a spiritual path choose the religion of their birth. There is no reason at all why that should be so, other than they are conditioned from a young age to do that. But to seek out truth, wherever it may be found, requires some bravery. Having found it, to accept it takes even more bravery, and then to live it takes yet more bravery. And we are, according to the first freedom, beset with conscious and unconscious fears. We are beset with fears. Now, different words might be used, insecurities, which are rooted in fear, complexes in the world of psychology, other phrases could be used. And these we might be aware of, and in many cases we might not be aware of. But the positive message in the first freedom is that we can overcome these fears. And this sets us on the path to enlightenment, ascension, and beyond. So before I go into any further words about bravery, let's hear one extract, very short extract, delivered by Mars Sector 6. Bear in mind, Dr. King was in deep samadhic trance when he received this. It's spoken through his larynx, so you're not just getting the words here, you're getting the vibrations, the energy of the communicator, and the authority of the communicator, Mars Sector 6. So Jeremy, could we have the first extract, please?
Break away from this fear by delving deep within yourself and discovering the great dormant powers which are latent there. Break away from this tight bondage by so enlightening yourselves that this weapon be rendered useless. Study a fear for what it is. Study it coldly, without emotion. You will discover that it is but a state of mind, which you have formulated for yourselves.
That's the end of that extract. Now, in the text, Mars Sector 6 goes on to explain and give us ways that we can overcome and eliminate these fears within us. And I can only touch on some of these, so let me touch on one or two ways that we can overcome fear. One of the ways is that we can change our karma. Now that's a new concept for some in itself, and quite different from some traditional teachings on karma. And as we change our karma, we have nothing to be feared about, because we remove the things we should be frightened of. I want to make a distinction here, by the way, between fear and caution, of course. I mean, if it's a dark night in certain cities and in certain streets, you don't go down them wearing diamond jewellery just because you're sensible. It's not just a matter of fear. But irrational fears, and there are many. I mean, I have a relative, for example, who has a fear of flying, for example. And, it's not rational because, we're told it's safer to travel in a plane than on some roads in a car, which this person will do. But these things exist, and that's just a small example. Fear of commitment is a big thing, especially on the spiritual path. And I know of people who have had a fear, conscious or unconscious, and then they've had a change. They've had a virtual epiphany, and they've made a commitment, and they found it's great. Didn't know what they'd been worried about. These are things we can change, and the teaching in the Nine Freedoms, I can't really enthuse enough about it because it's so liberating, it's so positive. We can rise above environment, and this is very easy to see, for example, in people of wealth. I don't know a lot of super rich people, I've met one or two. They don't always feel wealthy, I found. They've only got 5 houses, or 3 houses, and they feel a bit cramped because they haven't got 5. It's all a state of mind. And other people who live quite modestly, but feel wealthy, feel contented with their lot. So environment isn't real, that's just a kind of materialistic example. We can rise above it, depending on our state of mind. Much more could be said about bravery, but I've got to move on to the next freedom.